How's it going? So today, for Christmas, I got myself one of these K520 Krieg jigs. I've gone over to the dark side, trying out a pocket hole jig. What project I'm going to try and test it out on is a proper stand for this table saw. And right now I've just put it together on some of the old bookshelf that was in this garage, and I've cut it up just to be a stand, and it's on a dolly trolley with no brakes, very unstable when I'm cutting, it's a bit sketchy. So I'm going to build a proper trolley for it, probably with some drawer storage as well to add just some more storage in this small garage. Okay, so I'm just going to work out how all this works, because my first time using a pocket hole jig, and this is it's a Krieg's new one. It's been out for a while now, but it's got the trigger handle now, as opposed to one that was kind of fixed on your bench top. So now I'm gonna have a play with it. So they give you this depth chart to check the size of your timber, or the thickness of your timber, to see what sort of gauge you need to set the jig to. And mine, this timber's 35, and I think that sits in the 38 bracket, which is like 1.5 inches. Thank God they put it in millimeters for the Australian version. So then I'm pretty sure I've got to set this now to the 38 range. It's a bit tight. There, we've got it. Clips in there like that. And good thing about this is that the trigger can be turned at different angles to adjust for your workpiece that you're using. Okay, next, using the collet and drill bit they give you, you line up the window of that stop gauge there and just tighten it with the tool that they give you. So it's all, if you're using standard size materials, everything should be easy to set up. So that should be ready to go as well. So I've set that up. Drill bits in the drill. I'm going to line that up with the center. This is actually the first time I'm using it. I haven't done a practice run on this yet, so this will be the first time seeing how we go. It might be easier going that way. There you go. Try and join it to another piece now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use my little Dana made check square to hold it in place, just to try and get a nice square join there. Now it comes with its own driver bit because they use a square head. Now the size of the screws, I'm assuming I'm probably going to need these big ones here. For what I need, that'll be fine. Well, there's my test. And it hasn't split. I was worried that I was going to split the ends of the timbers because I've never done anything so close to the end grain before. Oh, it worked alright. So the way this bench is going to go together, it's going to be two side pieces like this, which will be the two sides of the walls there. And then the front will just have a few rails in the back joining them together. So I decided to go that way to give the strength going down of the table saw, and some rails going this way so the casters can be attached to it, because I still need the portability to move around the workshop. Okay, so I'm going to go for it now with the jig. Now it came with these clamps here, which I don't know, should have a wide enough reach to get through that to hold them flat, but just with my workspace here, I don't exactly know how. I'm going to be able to clamp that on. There we go. That's pretty good, better than the practice one. This guy. There we go. Two sides, like that. Put a bracing across the top on all four corners, and then I think I'll put a drawer in, but I might put some sides in here to have something to attach the hinges to, which will give me some versatility with the jig as well. Get to test how it goes in sheet material, and mounting that on different angles as well. Alright, let's go. So what I'm doing this time for the bracings, I've put a piece of 19mm in line with the jig, because this base here apparently is 19mm thick, so I've put in something there just to balance this long bracing piece out. So I should be able to slide this guy in, line it up. It balances on that, I don't have to worry about it wobbling and shifting down. In there, line it up each way, clamp it tight. That's it. Turn it around. Okay, so I put the first bracing on off camera just to see, because the angles are a bit weird and I didn't push record, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other ones now. There was a bit of a mess to get it all right, because it's hard. I can't use the Craig clamp for that sort of size, which made it easier on these thinner pieces. But let's have a go, see what happens. That's it. So this is my first crack at using a Craig jig in general. But yeah, happy with how quick and easy it was. It is just a DIY solution to putting things together around here. So first stage of the new build is done. I've got to fill in some of these walls and build a drawer for it, which I'll use the jig for as well. Happy days. That's where the versatility of this 520 comes into play when you're doing sheets. The old way, you'd have to mount it in like that, especially if it's a long board. Now I can go anywhere and attach it where I need it to be. So if the board was a lot bigger, I could lean it resting up and attach it to the side, wherever it needs to go. So I'm just going to adjust some of the settings. So what I've done here, I want each panel to sit flush with the inside so I can attach drawer runners. So I've just clamped two pieces there to let this panel rest on to ensure it's flat, because I was told that the way to make sure these sit nice and flush and square is if they're flat to the surface they're going to be joined onto. And that was from Fix It Fingers. So I'm just going to switch to these 32mm pocket screws now. I drilled out 8 holes, but I don't think I need to waste all the screws on those. I'm just going to leave it at those 4. Sides on. Now I probably won't use both those holes, but one's kind of just like a backup. stuff one up, I can use the other one. Doesn't really need the strength of two. It's just a panel going in. I'll just be wasting those pocket screws. So I'm just going to mount the casters now before I put the... Should I do the drill runs first? No, mount. Should I put the drill runners on first? Should put the drill runners on first. Okay, so I'm going to mount the draw runners now. What I do, I just put a blocker or a spacer from the bottom of the drawer to where I want the runner to be, and I don't really care where the runner is on this one, so I'm just going to put it that high off the base, and then once that's mounted, I'm going to put another spacer how far I want the actual drawer to be off this. I don't want it to rub, so I'll probably use something thin, maybe 5 or 6 mil sheet just to mount that, to elevate that off the carcass here. So I'm going to fix it into the frame first, put the drawer in, slide these out, slide the drawer out with it, screw them in, and we don't even have to take the runners out if it works properly. Okay, and everything's just going to sit flush with the front, nothing pretty. There you go. That's my first project using any sort of pocket hole jig, and this one was the 520, the new pistol grip version. I'm not affiliated with Craig in any way. They're not paying me to do this. It was my first time using a pocket hole jig to do pocket hole joinery. I needed a table saw bench. That was better than just mounting it on an unsafe dolly. So I thought, why not have a crack at doing that and recording it and showing you guys the journey using a pocket hole jig. It was pretty easy to use and learn. I barely read the instructions, which is no surprise. All the stuff is very self-explanatory based on the thickness of your wood. It was a lot easier to put together using pocket holes and making sure everything was square, as opposed to just butting it and screwing it together on an edge, which often splits the end of the boards or timber or whatever you're using. So this was a lot quicker and easier, especially for some shop furniture. I also put this drawer together using the pocket hole jig. First time doing that as well, obviously. And it's just going to house all my dust extraction stuff. So this is going to create a lot of dust which will probably fall in there, so it doesn't really matter if it's going to be dust related anyway. So it's just going to be all my hoses and extraction catches and all that. So again, thanks for watching. I hope you took something away from this about pocket hole joinery. It's not for everyone. I get it, I was a bit hesitant using one first and thinking it's not real woodworking, but for what it can do, it's an awesome tool to just have in the workshop and putting things together like shop furniture. Anyway, if you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing and following along. At Instagram, I'm Wooden Thumb as well. And until next time, see you later.